Nani? What's going on, everybody? I hope everyone's having a fantastic evening, fantastic afternoon, fantastic pre-noon, no matter where you are in the world. I'm Hassan Piker, and this is the HASAN broadcast coming to you for the last time from not so sunny California, Los Angeles. We're live and alive, and I hope all the boys, girls, and MBs are having a fantastic moment because today's a beautiful day. Today's a wonderful day. Today is the official first day, the chapter, the new arc. Japanuary is upon us, ladies and gentlemen, and we're gonna have some fun. But of course, before then, we're gonna be talking about Hell World. This is the part of the broadcast where I tell you about my personal news about what's going on in the world of Hassan Hasanabi Piker in between the time period where I press the stop streaming button and press the start streaming button, and what has happened in my life, my personal life, for all of the parasocialists out there. Ladies and gentlemen, I ended the broadcast after another banger 9-hour stream, I would say, and of course, that in and of itself is basically a half day. Just a big heads up, they don't have zins in Japan, just cigarettes. Definitely pack a few. Excuse me, hold on. I'm sorry. I'm doing trash taste again, yes. Did you say they don't have zins in Japan? Oh, don't worry. I got that shit on lock. Because I am an actual crackhead, I went and I purchased a shit ton of zins. Don't worry, fear not. Sleeves upon sleeves upon sleeves. I don't know where the fourth one went, but there's supposed to be 4 of these. But yeah, we're gonna be in Tokyo. Will and March are there already. They've already started having the fun. Kaya is not here. Kaya, as of this morning, officially Kaya is on her journey to boarding school, where she learned how to be a good girl, and she will continue her education at boarding school, at training with all of her friends for the next 2 weeks while I am in Japan. Boarding school, the sequel for Kaya. She's a scholarly dog, as you guys know. But as far as personal news goes, ended the broadcast last night, and what did I do? Pretty much nothing. Just hung out with Kaya our last night together, and other than that, watched MASHL, set up my Steam Deck, set up my HBO account and Netflix account to make sure I have stuff that I can watch on the flight, put the Balatro on the Steam Deck, put the Balatro in the bag. Is MASHL good? I like it. It's funny. It's stupid. You might not. Don Da Don. Oh, that's another good call, chatter. I should probably upload all the Don Da Dons as well, download all the Don Da Don episodes as well. But yeah, that's personal news wise. That's all I did. I went to bed. I've been on a drinking a lot of water before I go to sleep arc. Okay, I've been a hydrated girly, and dude, I keep waking up at like 4:43 every night to piss, and when I wake up, I'm so sweaty, it's crazy, and the house is so goddamn cold. It just, I don't know, it makes it hard for me to go back to sleep. Basically, did that, worked out. Workout videos are back. Okay, I'm going to try to also stay on my workout arc. I'm going to try to stay on my workout grind when I'm out in Japan as well. This is Kaya before she goes to school, getting her workout in. And this is me getting my workout in. Hitting nice little depth, you know, full depth for those. I think it was like 285. It's no big deal. It's not like that crazy. Full exhaustion. Depth is borderline at best. You're delulu. Dude, depth is borderline at best. This is after I've gone back up. If you think that this is not good depth, you're out of your mind. Like, I think TikTok and Instagram and like fitness influencers that have that you've been watching have like broken your brains. As long as it's 90 degrees, and this is sub 90, as long as this crease right here is 90, that's a full squat, but it goes beneath 90 for the most part. So yeah, I'm not doing ass to grass squatting. I have incredibly long legs. I don't know why we always do this. Like, I'm 6'4", okay? Incredibly long legs. I'm not gonna do ass to grass with obviously knee problems too. Honestly, depth looks fine, but your whole posture is fucked, especially your feet position. I know nothing about weightlifting. Great. Cole pulled a Hasanabi classic meme in Shibuya midway.
で、ここコスチュームの
Yeah.
メイドカフェか
Okay, well, Maid Cafe Ka, we're going to be working in a Maid Cafe in Japan. I can release that one. I'm going to leak that one. Actually, I should hit up Cole to see if he'd want to be working with us at the Maid Cafe too. Yeah, in maid outfits, yes. Maid Cafe, in maid outfits. We'll be doing the damn thing. You know, stuff that's illegal in America now, okay? Do you have any hot takes for Trash Taste? Your Luffy take is their top 10 most viewed clips of all time. Yeah, I kind of blew up that whole Luffy is a terrorist stuff. So I got to come back hot. I'm probably peaked though. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. My goal in Japan is to hopefully stream approximately at like, right now I start at 11 a.m. Now 11 a.m. Pacific, unfortunately, is what? Let's look at the time in Tokyo right now. Let's look at the Tokyo time right now. Okay. Tokyo time right now is 4 a.m. So 4 a.m. is a little too rich for my blood. It might be a little too early for me. Okay. So I'm probably going to start at 5 a.m., which means I'm probably going to start at 12 p.m. Pacific time, which means it's going to be at 3 p.m. EST. It's my problem, but don't worry, I won't make it your problem. And for the people who are saying you're crazy, you're nuts, I did this. I literally did this last time. I straight up did this last time. That's like exactly what I did. I'm gonna do 3 to 4 hours of regular desktop commentary content, as I usually do when I'm out there. And then afterwards, we're going to do an IRL. You did it twice, actually? Yeah, I've done it twice. I've been to Japan twice. Both times, I planted my ass, I sat my white ass down, and I listened. And I streamed. And last time I did that, there was a lot of drama happening in America. And I suspect this time when I'm in Japan, there will probably also, once again, be a lot of drama happening in America. And I suspect that nothing will change in terms of my like regular stream, regular broadcasting, all that stuff. Like I'll probably, you know, do my very best to, you know, continue doing my regular ass streams as I would have done if I was sitting here in Los Angeles, sunny Los Angeles, California. The only difference being that my vibes will be immaculate, significantly better than if they would be when if I was stuck in LA. Now, the only reason for that is because, as many of you know, when I'm in Japan, I'm in a much better mood. New wildfire in LA, above LA just broke out. That's not gonna be my problem. You know what I mean? I'm gonna be out of here. I logged on to IG today. My first rule was Andrew Tate doing the salute too. My feed going right. Everything is going right. I see no reason to deny this. I see no reason to, you know, avoid speaking on it. There are a lot of people who are going to feel more comfortable openly stating their stupid perspectives, you know, their belligerent reactionary perspectives. People who are already on the far right are going to be more open about their neo-Nazi tendencies. People who are center right are going to become more far right. And people who had previously masked their true, silly political perspective will be more open about it. They'll be more open about their political perspectives. And also, the third category is that a lot of content creators that look at the sphere of influence online will also personally fake it like they're right wing. Specifically so that they can get clout. That is the case. That is what's going to happen. It's been happening already. And to a certain degree, I think that has also led to, you know, the Trump victory, or at least like a lot of the people who normally wouldn't care about politics found themselves in the throes of right-wing politics. That is where we're at. The reality of the matter is all you got is one another. Community organizing, labor organizing. Because the Democratic Party has also kind of dropped the ball. There is no leftist momentum. There is no coalition of ideologically minded, pro-labor focused, truly resistant people in this country. And the institutions are also not going to hold up a strong fight. That is the problem. That is the issue. That has been the issue. But it's going to become a much larger issue now that Trump is in power and all of his cronies are actively working to ruin the world, not just the country. Can leftists take advantage of these next 4 years? No, I don't think so. But it's not because I'm being pessimistic. It's because there is no underlying structural help that people can rely on. So we're just going to keep building it. A lot of people keep asking me like, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? What are we going to do? What can we do, Hasan? What can we do, Hasan? What can we do, Hasan? Right now, we just have to be in a holding pattern. We have to try and protect our, you know, our marginalized neighbors, whether they're undocumented, whether they're trans. That's what we have to do. You have to hold the line. And eventually, I think through that process, we will be able to figure out a way out of this situation. In the upcoming months, I will talk more extensively about what these defensive measures will look like to the best of my ability within the legal structure, a legal structure that is obviously getting increasingly more restrictive as time goes on. Together, we will figure it out. The contradictions will inherently worsen, okay? The contradictions will worsen in this time, and I think a lot of people will be agitated. I'll just say this much. Last time around, in 2016, everyone was trying to organize. Everyone was excited. They even brunchified the hashtag liberal resistance. But the problem then was that hashtag liberal resistance that was also backed by institutions as well, oftentimes fell short of what was necessary, because that kind of resistance was inherently commodified and worked to basically filter back into the Democratic Party and whatever their interests were. And that kind of resistance also almost entirely revolved around the boundaries that the Democratic Party had presented. And what I mean by this is that it was not inherently anti-capitalist, and it was maybe at most, in its most radical form, was usually revolving around identity markers. It rarely ever had class analysis. It was not a real resistance against the proto-fascist administration of Donald Trump. I have a firm and committed belief that many liberals that, you know, vote for the Democratic Party and never really think about it, they would be easily on board with significantly more quote unquote radical politics if they were presented with it. With the exception of certain initiatives that were taken in this time frame, most of the resistance, or the broad majority of the resistance, came from liberal media, which commodified said resistance against proto-fascism, but also pacified it. I don't think it's going to happen this time around, because people are inevitably going to look for alternatives. They're going to look for alternative ways of thinking. They're going to look for alternative ways of organizing. And it does kind of seem like the media apparatus and the organizations that previously were tasked with like defending some of the marginalized people and the processes that the Trump administration will enact, the awful cruelty that the Trump administration will enact, they've kind of also dropped the ball. Can you provide an example of commodification? Yes. A great example of commodification is what happened with Black Lives Matter. The Black Lives Matter movement was a radical one. It was a decentralized movement. It was built out of activists on the streets who truly were being impacted by the disproportionate targeting of police. And their demands were seen as far too radical, far too disruptive. And under the Obama administration, Black Lives Matter was kind of like the Gaza situation under Joe Biden. Obama straight up said that, the Black Lives Matter people were thugs. I still remember the Pod Johns apologizing under the Trump administration, the first Trump administration, that Black Lives Matter was actually a good thing, and they were wrong initially in their assessment of BLM. But what happened under the Trump administration? This inherently radical, decentralized movement basically got packaged up and commodified, where you had Walmart and numerous other mega corporations offering aesthetic support to BLM. TikTokers who would vote for Donald Trump later down the line were throwing up the black fist on their TikTok profiles. It became a commodity. It became a thing that everyone could say. It became a thing that everyone was on board with, and it was substanceless. Ultimately, the demands being made by these activists were valid. They were moral, they were valid, they made sense. They wanted to spend more money on their communities. They wanted to make sure that these communities got more funds to avoid further violence, to deal with the socioeconomic conditions that they were facing. But a lot of those funds, especially in the local taxing structure and the local budget allotment, was going directly back to the police that were harming them. And what ended up happening in that process is not only did the quote-unquote international BLM organization basically was run by grifters, a bunch of the other people that were tasked with being the spokesperson for Black Lives Matter ended up working underneath the Democratic Party, or at least doing their own thing. And there was a lot of mismanagement of funds in the process as well. And the other people who were activists, like the actual street level activists of Black Lives Matter, all died under mysterious circumstances, like 6 of them. And the ones that didn't die became spokespeople for the Democratic Party or had their own fallout internally. Mismanagement of funds, that's funny. Yeah, no, I'm being very charitable here. No, it was grift. It was grifting, okay? People took funds and spent it on their own personal nonsense. And the International Black Lives Matter organization is basically a grift operation that's like pro-Israel now, but also simultaneously constantly getting cooked by regulators for also doing charity fraud. My point is, that's a perfect example of the commodification of a otherwise initially radical movement. What else happened in that process? Not only was it diluted, but the entire movement was turned into a joke ultimately, even though the demands initially were just. And it turned into a call sign for the reactionary right to basically say, you guys are bad. You like BLM? Look at BLM. All the corporations love BLM. And in that process, millions of Americans, especially young Americans, that had their first foray into radical politics and protesting the government, learned a very sad lesson. That lesson that they learned was that no matter what you do, you go out and you take it to the streets, you protest, and then you go out and you vote. You hold your nose and you go and you vote for Joe Biden because he's the only option that can defeat Donald Trump, it seems. And what did these people get in return for that? The lesson that they learned is nothing. You get nothing. You will shut up, and the Democratic Party won't even give you the already neutered 8 can't wait bill that they said that they were going to pass once they are in power. So for a lot of people, they were like, okay, well, that's the lesson I learned. I take it to the streets. I do all the right things. I do all the right things that they wrote in books. They told me I'm supposed to protest in the streets, okay, within the confines of the First Amendment. They told me I'm supposed to go out and vote for my politicians. I did both of those things, and then I got nothing in return. None of these demands came to fruition. So for a lot of people, that's the very sad lesson that they learned in their first foray into radical politics. And I suspect this is part of the reason why some of them actually turned right-wing and reactionary. And I suspect this is also the reason why many of them didn't vote for the Democrats at all, just didn't vote at all. And last but not least, the nihilism that kicked in that process ultimately created this ground for the reactionary right to come back stronger than before. Now, having said that, we also saw the Democratic administration, that's supposed to be the adults in the room, that are supposed to be focused on maintaining the rule-based international order, completely cast that aside. Numerous wars broke out, and our competent leadership was woefully incompetent in the face of all of that. Now, you have to fight back against this kind of nihilistic attitude. If you actually succumb to the whims of nihilism, well, you might find yourself in the throes of reactionary politics, just like all these other people. So that's why I always point out that change does not happen overnight. It's marginal and it takes a very long time, and that you're supposed to do these things not because you want immediate gratification, but you're supposed to do these things because you want to leave a better future for the next generation. So you have to keep going no matter what, and I will do the same. That's it.